Just like stress is a natural emotional response everyone experiences, fear is also an emotion that is very much familiar to us all. As stress is there to help us meet challenging situations, fear allows us to perceive any danger or threats coming our way, helping us to avoid or respond to dangerous situations. But as chronic stress is detrimental to our mental, emotional, and physical health, fear is detrimental to not just those things, but our goals and spiritual health as well. If we give too much power to fear, it will cause resistance and delays in our journey of evolving and becoming better. I thought it was important to touch on fear because if not faced, we will remain in a place of contentment and complacency. When striving on becoming better and as we continue to evolve, we face many challenges along the way. Challenges that may have us turning our back from the goals that we are working on achieving because of the fear of the unknown and all of the obstacles and blockages that was thrown our way. Fear can paralyze you or it can motivate you. You always have a choice. And if you react positively to your fears, you can change your life for the better. Most fears come from what we've seen or experienced, and we hold on to those memories, preventing us from doing the same thing again, which could be helpful in some cases, but also detrimental in others. Fear could be of something as small as an ant or as big as speaking in front of people or even failure. But we have to face these fears head on in order for it to not have power over us. Sometimes our fears even come from past lives where we have no understanding on why there is fear there, preventing us from moving forward and taking action. But it is our subconscious mind that is remembering and trying to warn or prevent something based on previous experiences that we may not even remember. Consciously, of course. For example, I did a past life progression meditation found on YouTube, and I was taken back to a time where I was gifted. I had abilities, but I was shot in the head and killed for it. So I established a fear of going forth about my gifts God has given me based on this past life experience. So fear began to rule me and have power over how I moved forward. Although I work closely with God and God tells me I am heavily protected, I can't help but stop in my tracks and remember what happened before. So I avoid taking action because I don't want to experience that again. But fear is self-generating. It is our own perceived limitations we place on ourselves. Fear is instilled in us based on previous experiences or what we've seen or heard. These become beliefs we have chosen to believe in our mind, which causes obstacles to the success in our lives. Some people even have a fear of succeeding. But when you are all out of options, sometimes the only thing to do is face those fears and take a chance on yourself. We have to stop allowing fears to shape who we are and the future we will have. It's important to understand that unless you take action, nothing will change. Only thing that will change is time and your age, but the situation will still remain the same unless you overcome your fears to create success in your life. You have to address the fears within yourself before actually taking physical action towards it. To do this, it is so important to identify what exactly are you scared of. Some may think they have a fear of escalators, but in reality, it's not the escalators itself, it's the thought of what can go wrong on an escalator. I remember when I was a child, I seen something on TV where there was too many people on the escalator, so the escalator collapsed where the stairs became flat and it crushed everybody on the escalator. For a while, I was scared to get on the escalator because I thought it would be just my luck that it collapsed when I'm on there. But as I got older, the escalator was more convenient. But I am still intentional with not getting on the escalator while there's too many people because of that fear that was implanted in me by what I saw. But when fear is implanted in you based on unfavorable what if scenarios, we choose to live our life around this fear, missing out on a lot of what life has to offer. Even with the movie Final Destination, you will never catch me riding behind a semi-truck carrying wood or branches. Why? Because I know what the possibilities of those branches falling off and crashing into me are based off what I've seen. Some would call it precaution, but in reality, it's the implanted thought of the possibility of what can happen, which is causing the fear of it happening to arise, which will lead to us being more cautious. But we have to come face to face with fear because fear will rule your life if you allow it. Fear will prevent you from taking certain actions or chances on yourself because there is a fear on how you would be perceived or supported. To overcome fear, get more information about the thing that you are fearful of. When we have more information, we are able to look at the situation from a different lens, dismantling some misinformation that we held on to that was preventing us from doing a certain thing. Ask yourself, is your fear legitimate, and what evidence do you have to support it or refute it? Because again, most fears are what if situations that the chance of it actually occurring are slim to none. If you think, what if I fail? You are focusing more on failing than actually succeeding. But the real question is, what if I succeed? Tell yourself that you prepared well and will do your best. We have to expect that things will work out in our favor. But the way our mind works is that it will remind you of a time that you did something and it didn't work out in your favor, which will cause you to be discouraged and fear the same results. All of these are tricks and schemes to stop and delay you from taking a chance on yourself. We may experience unfavorable outcomes, but we should never associate or identify with those outcomes thinking that you are a failure and everything you attempt will fail. Again, these are all lies. Remind yourself of the things you did and succeeded at. Start finding the evidence in your life of the things you've overcame and begin to encourage yourself that things will work out in your favor. Then begin to slowly but gradually introduce yourself to the thing that you fear. For example, if you fear public speaking, speak in front of a mirror to yourself first, then to a small group of people like friends and family, and continue to move up by speaking to larger crowds. You may be nervous at first and even mess up, but you still were able to put yourself out there and face your fears, which is a huge milestone. As you continue to do it, you will get better and better. To ease any nervousness, always focus on your breathing and take deep breaths to help relax your nerves. Remain in the present and focus your attention on the agenda at hand. Combating fear within yourself will take time because we live in a world that promotes fear and domination. You are going to have to be courageous and strong and mindful of the thoughts and fears that are holding you back so that you may push against them. If you find yourself really struggling with overcoming your fears, then talk to someone about it. Maybe they can offer a different perspective on how to go about facing your fears. So, take a moment and think about what are some things that you are fearful of or is holding you back. Why are you fearful of these things, or why are you allowing these things to hold you back? Does this fear interfere with you achieving your goals or any other activity in your daily life? What are some ways you can deal with this fear when it arises? What are some things you can tell yourself to encourage and strengthen yourself to overcome it? What are some things you can do to face your fears so that it doesn't prevent you from achieving your goals? Remember, facing your fears is an ongoing process, so be gentle and kind with yourself. Celebrate the small steps taken to face your fears, and don't give up on yourself. It may be difficult at first, but consistency is key. And soon after, your confidence will increase more and more into yourself.